Hello and welcome to another run of Navigate on Autopilot. This one's just a random evening run from out near Franklin Farm, Virginia, and I'm just trying to make my way back home at the tail end of some evening rush hour traffic. So we're going to go ahead and drop into Navigate on Autopilot here. We're going to just set it to go to the Springfield Supercharger, and let's see how it takes us there and how it works. So we're on Fairfax County Parkway here. Notice that we stay in Autopilot. We're not yet in Navigate on Autopilot. It's not allowed to work on this road, so that's something to note for the future. Anyway, this is a pretty quick road. Things move on here once you get tooling along. So I've got Navigate on Autopilot set to average for lane changing. I've got follow distance currently set. I had to set at 1. Let's go ahead and set it at 2 since we're in rush hour traffic, or something semblance of rush hour traffic. And we're just going to cruise along here, see how we do. Coming up on Route 50 here, Navigate on Autopilot wants us to go down 50. That's certainly acceptable to me. And let's see how it does. Let's see what we do here. So I got the blinker on. No. So I'm going to brake out here. It's still driving like it's, their life depends on getting home 30 seconds earlier. Says I can go into Autopilot, so let's go ahead and try it. Let's see if we can get over here. See, there's a good example of it just not wanting to do anything until the last second there. But it did it. Certainly could be more elegant in how it handles when lanes end and merge in. Big open Route 50. People move quickly on here, but again, even though it's 3 lanes each way, still can't go into Navigate on Autopilot here. I'm going to go ahead and move over a lane, so I'm just going to signal. That works really nicely. Oh, there's a little bit of, he brakes, so there's... All right, there we went. Just dropped into Navigate on Autopilot. That was a little sooner than I expected. All right, well, let's just see how Gracie does. Theoretically, she should be able to go almost all the way to the supercharger without breaking out. We've got a couple of lane merges up here. We'll see how Navigate on Autopilot handles that. So here's another perfect example of it just really being too soon on signaling. So it's trying to get over. The guy's going to let us in. Okay, well, that was perfectly fine. It certainly could have got in front of the box truck. Very nice job. So here we had a car coming up pretty quickly. It waited. Should be able to get over now. Let's see what it does. Oh, a little jink to the right. There's a nice UX element here with Navigate on Autopilot. We see the blue steering wheels here. Those all represent the fact that Navigate on Autopilot can make those turns on its own. It doesn't need me to take over on those, which is a nice little design element. I do like how, in general, how Navigate on Autopilot tries to get over into the lane that it will need to use pretty early. That works fine when traffic's moving, but there are many intersections where it just is not prudent to get over that early, and so it's unclear how Navigate on Autopilot will eventually evolve on that front. In this case, that was probably the right thing to do. To be a courteous driver is to be over in this lane. So far, this is a really nice job. Haven't really had to intervene at all. There was that one jink coming on to I-66, which seems to be a quirk of this version, Navigate on Autopilot. Very often when the car's trying to make the left-hand lane change, and there's another lane merging in, it seems to get all confused. It'll start making the lane change, and then it all of a sudden will jink hard right. I've seen that back at the one we just were on, and I also see it when coming from GW Parkway onto 395 South. All right, let's see what she does here. So far, so good. Not really saying we're gonna make a change. Should just be able to make the change here. Yep, there we go. Got the blinker, left we go. That really was perfect. This is the right lane to be in. Really smooth through here, no jerky motions. This will be interesting with all the heavy traffic here on 495 South. We'll see how Gracie does at merging in here. Again, I'm just gonna do my best to not engage, even if it might feel a bit awkward here and there. A little bit of phantom braking, So he's letting me in. Come on, Gracie, you're letting me in. There we go. Way too conservative. This guy was just very courteous there. He let me in, but way too slow in this kind of traffic. Again, I'm just going to let it run. You can see how well Navigate on Autopilot is seeing the vehicles around me. I got a truck here trying to come in and a car beside me trying to come in. Let's see how we do here. This is another good example where follow distance really needs to be relative at some level, even more relative than it is now. In this kind of traffic, we really just need to stay closer. Certainly the radar is certainly capable of operating in a more confined environment, but with this kind of gap, it just ends up confusing and making others around you just a little frustrated because they're waiting to merge in and they think you're going to close the gap, but then you don't close the gap. So I think there's just more work there to make it more natural in heavier traffic. Since we're going straight through here, it would actually be better to be over in the left two lanes. In the end run, they move a little more smoothly. There's a lot of merges that are happening up here as people come off Route 50 onto southbound 495. So far this lane is moving pretty well, but that's not always the case at all. But again, I'm just going to let Navigate on Autopilot do what it thinks is best, just to get that sort of documented in. This should be a good test, though. One thing I've noticed is that Navigate on Autopilot does a very nice job at this juncture in identifying turn signals and people that want to merge in, and it almost always is good at sort of letting them do that. So let's see what we get here. So proved me wrong right away. So in this case, he was able to do it, but Gracie was definitely squeezing him there. But it worked okay. Not terrible, actually, in terms of how things go in rush hour traffic in DC. Why don't we, and here we go. This is another still case where there's no reason Gracie should have moved over there. Again, didn't cause any real problems, but it's certainly awkward, and everyone around me is probably wondering, why did he do that? Sure, the lane got wider, but it's clear the lane was going straight through and there was something else merging in. Again, you know, just why am I in this lane? I'm going to go ahead and change the destination point here and go up to Edsal Road because it'll be interesting. There's let me just see what happens here. So here's a good example. So Gracie did a very nice job there, backing away to let him in. Still slide to the right there, though. Not terrible, but not great. But that's definitely a high point with Navigate on Autopilot right now, is how well it does at letting others into the lane. So I'm going to go ahead and just go over here to Edsal Road. Somewhere in here. Let's just go ahead and Navigate on Autopilot there. Alright, so we'll just see. This would be a great case because it looks like there's a lot of traffic there on I-395 exchange, and it'll be interesting to see how Gracie does in that heavier traffic. This little interchange we're going to do is part of the Feature Complete Challenge route. But when I do that, most of the time it won't be in heavy traffic or as heavy traffic as it is now. So we'll see what it does here, and rather than drop down to the supercharger. Now Gracie wants to get over to the left. Let's see how we do. We got a car coming up. Plenty of room though. Nice job. Yeah, that was really nice actually. This interchange is actually really tricky in a lot of ways. There's two lanes that go around the left-hand bend here. About halfway around the left bend, the right lane merges in, it ends. So this was actually a really good lane to be in. This is the lane that goes all the way through. The speed limit here lists 45 as a caution. Historically, the car does nicely through here. It slows down to a good, solid speed that isn't scary. So we're already down to 55. Still holding on, see how we do here. Now we got the traffic, sort of got brake lights up ahead. Still 52. Got cars coming up on my right side. You'll see them in the center console display there. What's he going to do? So this lane merges right up here. So we'll see how it handles it. So we're slowing down. He slots in. So far, a really nice job. Still in Navigate on Autopilot. Now we got some weird wide lanes here. Gracie is holding her location very nicely, kind of right in the lane. But here we got another slide to the right. Just not what you want to be doing. Totally the wrong move there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just drop up into Edsal Road and see how Navigate on Autopilot ends here. So the traffic had really lightened up, so it wasn't terribly hard. But again, we're just cruising along, full tilt ahead. But here we go. So it should go to the right. There we are. Odd that it just says it detected a toll booth. And then there we are. We're going to slide over. Now, actually, this is the right thing. And we're coming to a turn, and there's Navigate on Autopilot end. Since there's a car here, it's a little hard to know what it would have done. On other similar exchanges like this, the car usually does come to a stop. And with that, I'm going to break out and call this the end of the session. So thanks for watching.